Pleasant Grove City Council work session here this afternoon, February the 2nd, 2021, and welcome all those who have joined us. And we have all of our council members present and accounted for, and we have some of our staff that has already came here for our study session. We will now start by asking Rob Smith to come forward and introduce. We have 4 people from Alpine School District. We've never had 4 people before, so this is great. But
Broad counts is like 8 people.
so it's and you know they were going to do more presentation and bring us up to date on Valley View, but that and they will update us a little bit on that. But our focus has changed, so we're back to the good stuff. So, Rob, we'll turn the time to you.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Councilmember Anderson, I'm not supposed to have a favorite, but that comment, I just grateful to be here with the good city of Pleasant Grove. We appreciate each one of you, what you do, and our opportunity to serve you, the families of Pleasant Grove, especially our students. With me tonight, I have Dr. Mark Clement, who is our board president. And represents this area. Grateful that Mark could be here with us tonight. We also have our new superintendent, effective July 1st, Dr. Shane Farnsworth. He'll be presenting tonight, so grateful to have Shane here as well. And we have Dr. Vicki Carter, former principal of Central Elementary and Space Center champion. And I like to take Vicki every time I go somewhere to present. She just brings good karma. And I kind of joke with her about that. But she was instrumental when we were able to secure some private donations for that space center. And one of her former students was in the group that we presented to. Anyway, just she's a phenomenal human being, but a great educator. And I'm probably the 4th string of this group, Rob Smith, Assistant Superintendent of Business, but I absolutely love PG, and I did know where I was coming tonight, so you notice I wore the right mask as well. So we're going to take just a few minutes. I'm going to skip through a few things. We won't focus a lot on it because we are kind of into this whole COVID thing. And this presentation we prepared back in the fall. And so it's taken us a few months to get out here to you, but a lot of the questions you've already answered and asked and been involved with, and we're grateful. Our focus has been keeping kids in school face-to-face safely and keeping our educators safe, and we've done a lot of things to do that. Really proud of our team and especially what our students and teachers are doing in the classroom. So this is just a brief slide shot of the old and a new school that we're building. We're always building, and we've got some additional work to do in Pleasant Grove in the future as well. I got to apologize. This was prepared in the fall. The election, our former board president, Scott Carlson, was replaced by Stacy Bateman, and very active. She's our region PTA director and is on, I think, the national PTA board. Very involved, represents the Lehigh area. But great people. Each one of these board members, I've worked 3 different school districts, 2 different states over the last 26 plus years. There's not a board that works more hours for you and for our kids and for our teachers than this board. And I've worked with a lot of board members, and they're just good human beings. Our area, and we're growing, and we love representing and serving the northern part of Utah County, and we're grateful to see the things that are happening here in PG. A lot of economic development and some good work that this council's done, and some more to come, I'm sure. One of the things that we always like to talk about is our teachers. We have some of the best. It's our board's #1 priority, and that is to recruit and reward and retain the best teachers. How are we going to get the best results for kids? It's getting the best teachers to connect with them and support families and parents in their learning. This year we hired 534 new teachers. You can see the breakout by division. And it's actually down a little bit from normal. We've had as many as 700. And people say, God, Rob, that's a lot of new teachers. Well, it is. We have 2 great universities right here in our valley. We hire a lot of women. About 73% of our workforce is women. And so when they get married or have a family or something, we may lose them for a little bit of time, and we hope to get them back. But that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of new teachers every year. And what a blessing it is to, again, be in the area of 2 great universities that have wonderful teacher training and preparation programs. I mentioned this before, the board. Earlier, just right before this meeting, I had a meeting with 8 teachers. The board asked me to get a teacher compensation team together and look at what we're doing to recruit, retain the very best teachers. And I'm going to report out the work of that group to the administration and then the board in the coming weeks. But great to get our teachers engaged in that effort. And we have brand new teachers, we have veteran teachers, and everything in between. And they care about kids, and they want to do a good job. And so, again, as we try to recruit and keep them, we're doing the right thing for kids. This is our Return to Learn plan. Again, this in the fall was a little bit more. I'm going to skip through, but Alpine gave a lot of options. We were one of the few districts that we're going to be face-to-face. However, parents, if you want to be online, we're going to support you. Students, if you want to engage, we're going to support you. Really challenging to do, but our team pulled it off. This was our elementary options that we had, and these are our secondary options. And all this was on that main page of the website. You can still actually get to all of the same information on our website. The plans changed, though. We've had different executive orders. We've had different health department issues. We've had, even at PG, we went to online for a period of time. We had a hybrid schedule that what we have found is what's best is to have kids face-to-face. Even the secondary schedule that has that Wednesday with the 2 days on either side, there are reasons why we chose to do that. Had a teacher today say in my compensation group, say, Rob, can that just keep going forever? And I said, well, do you really want my answer on that? But we've tried to adjust to keep kids in school, support parents, support teachers, and keep people safe. And I think we've done a great job balancing that. Our dashboard, this is kind of a small, but again, right from that same main page on our slider. This has changed. We have color-coded. We were successful. Our board led the way in trying to get some criteria from the health department changed relative to student quarantines, relative to the number 15 cases in a given school versus 1%. So again, our board, our administrative team advocated. This was our report by school. Whether the school went to a modified schedule, whether the school was in a regular schedule. But you can see the current dashboard. It's a little prettier than this one because, again, this one was put together in the fall. But really informative. You can see what's going on at your individual school or all of the schools in Pleasant Grove. On the top banner, you can see the total number of students and staff positive cases within the window. And what the percentage is on the far right. And again, we've done really well. I mean, our percent positive's really been quite low. Even testing our athletes, and again, we want our kids to play and have those experiences and participate in our extracurricular programs. I saw some testing numbers just this last day for all of our schools, and really, really low positivity rates. I mean, 1 or 2 or 0. I think one of the schools was as high as 5. But when you're testing hundreds and hundreds of kids or student athletes to participate, again, that positivity rate is very low. I asked Vicki, Dr. Carter, if she wanted to talk about this. Have any of you been over to the Space Center? I think the mayor came over when we had our little VIP. We'd like to invite the council to come over. Come to our planetarium. reach out to me or Scott, and we'll coordinate a time. We had our cabinet, our leadership team for the district over there the other day for a meeting. And, just the tool that we have in our community to inspire young people and to excite young people about learning. Nobody has one of these in their backyard, but you do. And we're so excited about what we have been able to do here. So please let us know. We'd love to get you over and see it. The planetarium is starting to do shows and for family groups and so forth, but we'd love the PG City Council family to come over and come through it. With that, I'm going to hit one more, unless Dr. Farnsworth wants to hit enrollment. I think he wants me to hit this. One of the interesting things with the pandemic is the number of students we projected would come were usually less than 1% off, either up or down on a given year. This year was an aberration because of the pandemic. Several families chose to keep students home. Homeschool numbers or our online options increased. But here's a snapshot of the PG schools. You can see our elementary schools went down. And why would that be the case? I think many parents feel more comfortable with curriculum and supporting students at the elementary level versus at the secondary level. I know when you get into calculus or you get into physics or something, trying to help and support children is a little different than is a third grade math class or a reading assignment. That could be part of it. It also could be part of, again, a variety of issues that we may have, but our elementaries were down. PG Junior was down a little bit as well, but if you look at PG High, it was actually up. One of the things we did see at our high school level is because we were playing, we were having sports, we have seen people moving into the area and wanting to participate because we were doing some things other schools throughout the nation were not. And again, that's just a report where we were versus where we were last year. And I looked at the enrollment report just this past week, and it's interesting. January, we saw an increase in our elementary schools of a couple hundred students. And I think a lot of parents are feeling, hey, we kept them out maybe in the fall, and we're going to start bringing some of those kids back. We have vaccinations that are occurring. We have some of these things that we were concerned about, maybe less concerned moving forward. And so again, that's something that we saw just this month coming through. So with that, I'm going to turn some time over to Shane.
Hey, Rob?
Yeah,
I just got one.
questions?
Could
Yeah.
you just touch on your enrollment district-wide?
Yeah.
We talked several weeks ago.
Yeah,
We had breakfast about that,
yeah.
and it's trending all over the district, right? Go
It
ahead.
is. This pattern is similar to what we saw throughout the district, even in fast-growing areas in Saratoga Springs and Eagle Mountain. Many of our elementary schools that we're clipping along, and there's a lot of building still happening, that we actually saw the same kind of dynamic where secondary schools were up and our elementary schools were down. And again, this last month report, as I looked at it for January, we have seen some additional elementary students come back to school. And I think, again, that was even changed from when we grabbed breakfast, Mayor, in November or early December.
Yeah.
But the district enrollment's about 81,200 students for the whole district. But the same kind of trend occurred as we've gone out and done city council presentations. We've shared very similar information, even in very fast-growing areas of the community. So, is
Thank
that
you.
what you wanted me to hit?
That's what.
Okay. All right, I'll turn some time over to Dr. Farnsworth. He's going to talk about capital projects. He's going to hit Valley View and, again, answer any questions that you have for us.
Shane, could you give us a little bit of your, this is your opportunity for the council to get to know you. And so I know you and your history, but could you refresh that with the council and tell them how many years you've been with the district and where you started?
Given that you know me and my history, I probably ought to be the one that tells them my history. Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be with you. I started in Alpine School District about 22 years ago as a language arts teacher My undergraduate was actually in Latin and philosophy, and I was headed to a doctorate in classical literature, and made the change to say, you know, I don't know that everyone cares about this, and I'm not sure that I still care about this, but I do care about education, public education, so I made the switch. Certified in Latin and language arts teacher, taught at Mountain Ridge Junior High as an English teacher, and then went back and got my administrative degree, and was hired as an assistant principal at Timberline Elementary or middle school in Alpine, and then became principal of AF Junior. During that time, went back and got the doctorate, not in classical literature, but in education administration through BYU. My focus of my study was on principal trust, teacher and principal trust, and behavior. And then was at AF Junior for 6 years, and then I've been in the district office for about 6 years as a supervisor, and most recently as assistant superintendent over operations, and then was recently appointed as superintendent. Grew up in Idaho. My wife and I live in American Fork, have 6 children, 1 still at home. All have gone through Alpine School District school. So we're blessed and fortunate to be a part of this larger community and feel it a privilege to serve as superintendent. So thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you. Other than the part of being a caveman, we'll forgive you for that, so, but
Well,
anyway, but we know once a caveman, always a caveman, you know. Sid's the one that has a problem with that, so.
So what part of Idaho?
Emmett. It's a
Oh,
little
wow.
farming community outside of Boise. So,
Okay, continue.
and cavemen eventually evolved to become Vikings.
Yep,
Yay.
that's right. Hey, we'll give him points for that.
All righty. You'll see as we advance here, this is from 2016, just a general idea, summary of capital investment in schools in the Pleasant Grove area. We've really been fortunate here to have the rebuild of Grovecrest that opened in 2017, the recent rebuild of Central. You'll see the Central cost was a little bit higher there because of the Space Center. We've invested about $6 million into Pleasant Grove High School and are not done there yet. And then just a summary of some projects at the other schools, the around $2 million in Pleasant Grove Junior, Manila, Mount Mahogany, Valley View in terms of asphalt, roofing, HVAC. And then as we look to the future, as we look at potential areas that may need consolidation or rebuilds, there's Valley View and then Linden Elementary are priority 9 and 10 on our list of schools that need some attention down the road. Pleasant Grove High School is number 3 on that rebuild prioritization list. And then we'll continue to invest in ongoing renovations to schools to make sure that they are good places for our students to learn and for our communities to access. You've seen some, if you've been in Pleasant Grove Junior High, you'll see some bleacher changes and some other things. That school is on our list of needing renovations. There's still some temporary hallways in Pleasant Grove Junior. Brick and mortar's in good shape, but we need to do some internal renovations there. Any questions before we get to kind of the Valley View consolidation discussion and process that we went through there? Any questions on capital projects?
Anything, council?
Okay, many of you are familiar with the recent study, or the ongoing study that the Board of Education did with respect to Valley View. We recently sent out communication to those members of the community that had been involved in our feedback meetings. We held a feedback meeting, gathered information from them. The board opened that process in December. It's a 120-day process to finally make a decision in April. There's opportunity for, we met with the mayor and got feedback with some other mayors as well about the consolidation. We took that feedback, processed through that, made a recommendation to the board that we hold on this consolidation. The board won't make that final determination until April 13th, but rather than come back out to Valley View with a couple of different proposals on options for consolidation, our recommendation was that we hold and that we continue to study. The Board of Education felt confident enough about that to allow us to share that information with patrons. So that's the current communication that's going out. The board will continue to look at that, make a determination at the end of the 120 days whether or not to move on consolidation or to hold on that. And the sense that we get from the board right now is that they are accepting of that staff recommendation. What we shared with the city or school leaders last night, yesterday afternoon, patrons, those that wanted to assemble, is that we appreciate the feedback. It speaks well of your kindness initiative, because we were treated very kindly as we came out to share information that was challenging and difficult and represented change. The patrons of that school were very civil with us, very engaging with us, very open to give and receive feedback. We appreciate that dialogue. We learned a lot about the school, about the community, about what matters to them as we consider consolidation. We shared with them that at some point we will need to do something with Valley View. It is an aging school. We have declining population in Grovecrest and Central, even though Valley View is holding steady over the next 5 years. And schools south of Valley View are declining in enrollment as well. And so there will come a point where we need to do a larger boundary adjustment or consider consolidation, but it's on hold for right now. That's at least the staff recommendation. So, any questions with respect to that? Okay, Rob, I think we're back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Farnsworth. I get kind of tired of listening to me speak. I could speak all night on any subject, but I just wanted to give them an opportunity to share. This is just an example of information that we're putting together to try to make sense of how your dollars, your tax dollars, we spend your dollars, and we take that very seriously. The fiduciary our board has to you. So we are trying to find ways to communicate different things. This is just a one little simple, kind of like a bookmark that we created. We sent to the mayor and to the city manager a popular annual financial report. It's also out on our website. It takes a 200-page comprehensive financial report with all of the accounting terminology and so forth, and it brings it down to 16 pages of really good graphs, really solid information, and simple narrative. We're trying to find ways, again, to engage with the community in simple ways about their schools. So this is just one example. We'll continue to do things like that with academic outcomes, social and emotional well-being support that we're providing for teachers and students, et cetera. And then lastly, we like to always finish our discussions with you. Just how do we support you? What are some things that are on your mind that we can take back? We had a recent presentation with American Fork, and I followed up with Councilmember Shelton today and Mayor Frost with an item that came up at that meeting. And we're able to jointly work on things as we serve the people of Pleasant Grove. So what can we do to support you? What feedback do you have for us?
Council, do you have anything you want to use?
No, I appreciate everything that everyone does at the district level, and I don't have any questions. I kind of try to stay in touch, and appreciate it.
No, I think you guys have always been very open and honest and worked with us and the community, so it's much appreciated. And go Central Tigers.
Diana?
I echo that as well. I do love the information that you do get out to the citizens, because I think when the citizens see the property tax amount, their assumption is that money is coming to the city, when I think it's I don't know, maybe 10% is actually coming to us. So I do love when you are fiscally responsible in communicating to the citizens. So I love it when we do get the mailers that say, this is how much money we have, this is where it's being spent. And we, of course, need to do a better job at educating our citizens on that portion that is ours. I don't, I'm a Central Tiger as well. And I'm very grateful for what has happened. I think my children were some of the very first Space Center workers, and that meant a lot to them, and it has impacted them. I was not aware of the conversations that we're having in Valley View, and I know that's my fault. I think maybe a heads up a little bit of conversations that were being had where we would have had information. I think the first time I heard about it, and Sid is a Valley View mom, a Hawk. She's a Hawk. She was aware of some of the conversations that were underlying, but I think the very first time it was when we were in a public hearing and parents were coming up and expressing, and I didn't have enough background information. So I think maybe just a little bit heads up on that.
Sid, do you want to share with your views on Valley View? And
Yeah, just thank you to the district's recommendation to the board. We know it's not a final decision yet, but we appreciate you taking the time to listen to the parents and teachers and staff at Valley View and their concerns regarding the consolidation, and just appreciate the process. As a council member, I know what that feels like to be making the best decision on behalf of the district and the taxpayers, and you're in a difficult position. So we appreciate you being willing to listen, and we're just really appreciative of the outcome so far. Like I said, we know that it's not final yet, but we do appreciate the effort and you being willing to listen to the concerns.
Thank you.
well, I'll bring up the parking at Pleasant Grove High School.
I thought you
I know it's ongoing. It's just, but you know what? It's really been nice because we really haven't had a problem up there because we haven't had as many students. And we says, wow, this is school in up here today. So anyway, so it's good. And we do have that armory, the Army Reserve Armory that is coming up on the block. And I think that'll be an ongoing discussions where maybe between the two of us, we can get a joint use there or something and split that property and help you and help us and as that comes available. So that's one of the things I think we'll be looking at. Maybe that'll help us on our parking too, a little bit up there. So Brent, do you have anything you'd like to?
No, I don't. Appreciate it. I was way back in the three-story central building, so that tells you how old I am.
Just a few years.
Yeah, actually, it's been a number of decades.
Well, that legacy, Central. That's pretty good
That-
legacy right there.
Brent's planetarium was actually in the parking lot on his back.
Yes.
That's probably back when there wasn't a lot of street lights or a lot of, you probably had dark
Bright
sky
lights,
back in
that's
those
true.
days.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we appreciate working with Scott. I know I provided a letter that we sent to the federal, I don't even remember the right name.
It's the Army Reserve.
But we sent a letter expressing interest in the Armory and working with you on that. And they said it would be a long process, but I think that would be something for us to work together on. And I think that would really help out there. So,
Anything else for Rob? Well, with that, we're grateful that you guys came, and Mark, thank you. I have to give a little history on you, Mark. Mark was first appointed on the school board when I left a year early. But then he took a little vacation, and now he's back, and we're grateful that you're representing Pleasant Grove. And hope it stays that way in case the boundary changes. Don't mess that up, whatever, so, on voting districts. But if there's nothing else from the council, I guess we're through. It's Rob and Superintendent and Dr. Carter, thank you. You know what, you have to be so proud of what's happened at Central to see that all come about. So, I know you've been a big part of that, so thank you.
thank you.
So,
Yes. Oh, that would be so much fun.
well, that concludes everything, the presentations we have for our work session this evening. So let's roll into our director's reports, and we'll start in the back there. Daniel, do you want to go first?
It's good to see you too. Really, it's really good to see you guys. So one of a member of our team is gonna retire pretty soon. We're working on a grandiose party, but we're still working on it. Business, the person's in charge of a business licensing, and we're taking the right measurements to make sure that that position is covered and that we keep functioning the right way. As soon as I go back to my chair, I will send you guys, email you the new RAP sheet. Did I say it right this time? Because I've been told my accent, sometimes I don't say it correctly, so you just gotta make sure that it's the right
We
word.
get Rap Street.
Yeah, that one.
Well, Sid does more than we do.
I will email it to you guys, so we updated it yesterday, so it's fresh off the oven. Okay?
Did I see a new Thai restaurant going in next to Roxbury? At least there's a sign up.
There's a sign. Probably as soon as they have a business license, when it's actually in the works, I'll be happier. I will know that it's actually coming.
Working through the process.
Okay.
Signs up, no business license.
Okay.
Thanks, Daniel.
That's what I have, Mayor. It's just pretty simple this week. 2020 was way busier than 2019, and 2021 already in this couple months, 1 month, we did 3 times more than what we did last year in the same month. So this is about a year to break the records. Eventually, I'm going to bring you guys a report, something that shows when we have our meeting or retreat, and you guys will see how the numbers for build. I think when people are locked at their homes, they want to improve their homes, and building permits are off the chart. Okay, that's what I have, Mayor.
Okay, anything else for Daniel from any of the council?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler, well, Marty, come. You know, usually we don't have any time for you, Marty, but we will.
Let's have him go first, so we can take the rest of the meeting.
Yeah. Well, things are going well. We also have a retirement of Bruce Black that's coming up the end of this month. I don't know if you knew that.
way.
So he will be retiring. His last day is the 25th of this month. So we'll have a little retirement party. We'll be sending out some invitations here. It'll probably be on the 24th, I think, if we can get that scheduled. We'll have to check with Kathy. As far as you see, probably the power pole is down, so that's an exciting thing. It's been removed, backfilled. We're working on getting the striping removed and redone, and we were told they were trying to get that done this week. We've got a little weather potential that might impact that, but it should be done in the next week or so to where everything's lined up and where everybody expects it to be, so no big concerns. Will hopefully be there after that. So we've worked that out. Lots of other projects under design that we're working through and just moving forward. It's great to have Aaron Wilson on board. That's been great to have somebody I can dump a few things onto and let him get those done. So that's going well. Some transition there. Lots of training and things going on still, but things are going well. So any questions, I guess, for me or projects?
Council?
Nope.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Marty. Can't wait for spring.
It was 57 degrees today. It was spring.
Yeah, pretty close. Boy, that's.
I was polishing up my golf clubs.
I was trying to tell my bees, don't come out, don't
It's
come
not-
out.
Tyler,
I don't have these.
tell us how you're handling all the people at the rec center.
Well, it's good to be back with you guys. I missed last time because I was down with COVID, so I can say I've been a victim now and I'm moving forward. But
I did not know that.
yeah, That's what it was.
Was it that you got it from your wife?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, you need to put credit where
She's to
because-
blame for all
okay,
of it.
That's what I
so.
understood. So anyway,
No, but our whole family went through it. We were good, and so, yeah. But it's good to be back with you, and good to be back at the rec center. It is a hopping place. If you've had an opportunity to be up there, basketball is in full swing, and once again, my staff is handling it just wonderfully. Just today we started itty bitty ball with the little kids, and it was Amber's first time running itty bitty ball, so she was all tense, but just to see the kids out there with their parents and enjoying the sport, and it was really, really awesome. So we've been able to start on some the scoreboards at Manila. We got the bids all back from that, and that'll be going in about 4 to 6 weeks. So those will be ready for baseball season. So we're excited to get those out there. Good working scoreboards, and all of our weight equipment's finally coming in. COVID's affected a lot of deliveries, as you can imagine, and we're finally starting to see all of our equipment that we ordered months ago come into the facility. So. But yeah, things are just, so we had our signups for spring sports coming up, our women's volleyball, our men's spring basketball, and our men's softball, and women's volleyball filled up in the first day yesterday. So
Wow.
people want it, and we're glad to offer it. So
Is Brett full swing?
Brett had a follow-up from his surgery on his arm, and he got good news. He got down to a soft cast, and so he's not going to have to, he's got all the hardware in there from his surgery. But he got better news. He could take off the cast that he had and is a little more mobile on it. And don't know if he'll return to the soccer field anytime soon.
He has to.
He has a little...
He's losing.
So,
We need Brett.
yeah. Anything else? Any questions?
anything, Council? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I did not know he had.
Chief Roberts.
Dang it. Well, now he doesn't have to wear a mask.
Hi, guys. So we're finally fully staffed. A couple of you have asked about that, so we were able to finally, after about a year and a half, assign somebody to the task force. So Corporal Lauren Locke is assigned to the Major Crimes Task Force. Yesterday, they assigned her to an FBI task force, so she's one of the only members that is not a member of the FBI that is assigned to this task force. So it's kind of special for her. So she's jumping into the fire with both feet. It'll be interesting to see how she does in there. She hits the ground running, so she'll do fine, I think. But we are in the process of buying some GPS RFI. They call them bugs, basically, but they're transmitters. Half of them are about the size of a saltine cracker. They just look like a black saltine cracker. The other half are like watch batteries with a big long tail, long wire in them. We've been getting some business burglaries in certain areas, and a couple of places have been hit more than once. So we have some really high-end laptops that we've got from an ICAT grant that we haven't ever used. We haven't opened the boxes in them. So we're going to install these transmitters in the laptops, and we're going to start placing them around in some of the businesses in the areas of the burglaries, or some of them that we think that might get hit again. And once that happens, or if it does happen, we can pinpoint directly right exactly where they are, whether we use it by GPS or RFI, which is chase it down the radio frequency, depending on the life of the battery. We decided while we're going to do that, which is a great idea, we're going to start a program called While You're Away. So some of the citizens in town, if they're going on vacation, they can come down and check out some of these laptops. Just stick them on their kitchen cupboard or on their table. Just another peace of mind. So if they happen to be gone, somebody breaks into their house, or some unwanted family members that aren't welcome there happen to show up and take things that don't belong to them, we can do the same thing for them, track down some of their property and find out where it's at. So the bugs will come in handy for us, so that's a good thing.
Wow.
The police department started its own version of Mental Health Monday a couple of weeks ago, actually last week, I shouldn't say a couple of weeks ago, last week. Dr. Evan Coates has changed his practice around a little bit. I don't know if you know him. He's actually our chaplain, but he's a really good psychologist. He started to show up to the police department every Monday, and he just sets up home in our training room. He does painting and does schoolwork or whatever he does in there, and just makes himself available all day long to the members of our PD so the guys and gals can come down if they feel the need to do so and talk to him about anything they decide to talk to him about. And he's opened himself up or his practice up to that, and he accepts our city insurance and doesn't charge them anything personally. So, I mean, that's a big deal to our guys and gals, and, you know, good for him on doing that. He's a great guy. And so they have that option along with some of the other options we have as far as our mental health coverage and care. So that's a good thing.
I love that.
Yeah, he's awesome, and several people have taken advantage of it already, and it runs the gamut on anything they want to talk about, so it's really nice. Not much else. I got the statistics for last month right before I came to this meeting. We took 1,155 calls for service last month, so when Scott sends out his next update, I'll add that to the list and let you take a look at that and see what we did last month and take a look.
Thank you. Anything else? No?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Chief.
Well, if we could have our future fire chief come forward. I just hope. I just hope the council votes and,
Can we give him grief, but until then?
yeah, you can. He's not.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet, so who knows? what
Maybe it's
happens.
grief after. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's what we do.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Fire department's doing great. Of course, we got a lot of movement going on, things going on with Chief retiring, and so this next few weeks we'll be doing some other things and getting people moving to other positions, and as we go through this little thing. We do have one of our lieutenants, Tyler Nilsson, who his last day is gonna be the end of this week. He's leaving to go to Orem, so we'll be short another position there. So like in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be doing another hire, another test, and a few things like that to get back up to full staffing as we go along. Most of our guys have.
Is that an internal position, or do you open that up for?
After my thing, we'll have my spot open, and then depending who gets that, we'll have we have 2 spots depending on who can open, whether it's the battalion chief and the deputy chief spot. So I like to do that internal at first and see where we end up, and then we'll go from there. For new hire, new medic, we'll go outside, because we could still use some medics. We're still short, medics, so that's what we'll do with that. Most of the guys have got their second vaccine, so they're on that route, so which is kind of nice. That second shot wasn't a whole lot of fun. Just
Yeah, I heard
everybody
that
wants to
one's
know.
not good.
Yeah, but we survived. Everybody made it through. Everything else is going great. I mean, it's just, a lot of stuff going on, and we're excited. Other than that, we did get some of the money we received recently. I was going to tell you that we got 4 new air monitors for the engines, 5 gas and some 3 gases. So we got the 5 gas, especially for that last little issue we had a year or so, a couple of years at the pool with the chlorine. So we have one of them is a chlorine gas, and so we have a few businesses around town that are storing a little more chlorine. So having these new monitors that we're able to receive from the money that we got are going to be a really good tool, for the guys to be able to keep up on stuff like that, and just monitor homes and CO alarms and things like that. So
When you walk into a home, these will monitor the air quality.
Yeah,
and
they'll
tell
do the
you
air
what's
quality,
in
look
it.
for carbon monoxide, and they'll look for, explosive levels and certain things like that. And the main one we wanted was the chlorine, because that's one that it can be pretty dangerous. And, of course, what we saw with the pool, so we want to make sure that we're up on that and we're aware of what's going on, so. But that's it.
Anything else?
Mayor, may I ask
Yes,
a question?
Yes, you bet.
As far as the COVID, I'm thinking of COVID and vaccine.
Yeah.
The COVID vaccine, is that being required by the state for police and fire, or is that just something that we're doing as?
It's not required, no, and we're not requiring it either, but it's just, the guys have done it on their own, just to You know, because they're around enough, and they've all got parents, they've got stuff like, so I think they're just doing that concern for others, basically. I did the same thing. You know, I got it, I took the shot, and just so, you know, I can have a little more peace of mind and not worry as much being able to visit certain people that I haven't seen for quite a while. But yeah, we're not requiring it at this point, and the state's not requiring it that I know of,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Question?
And that goes for all of our employees. We're not requiring any employee to get the vaccine. If they choose to, wonderful, but if they choose not to, that's okay too. So that's where we're at. To my knowledge, the state's not requiring anybody to be vaccinated, so.
And Chief Roberts, is that also the case with, like, are the police being required to? No. Okay,
Nobody's being required.
okay.
Sharon?
And where are they getting it? Where? Okay,
Most of them are coming out of the county health department. That's where the vaccines go. We're gonna find out who's tougher, police or fire.
Well, you know, I found out this evening, talking to Mark Clements there, that all the school board got vaccinated.
really?
Yeah, but we don't matter here, so. Okay, just, but they're, I don't know.
We're better off dead occasionally.
So I thought that was it, and I said, well, you're over 70, and he says, no, we're
Required.
part of the educators.
Okay.
So anyway,
They're given the opportunity to take it.
yeah.
So same with the teachers, is that they're just given the opportunity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sherry?
By the way, while she's walking up, the Candy Bomber, 100 years old, recovered.
Good for him, good for him. That's. Oh, Sherry?
Hello. Well, we have a bunch of celebrities in here now
Yes.
who have filmed themselves or got filmed.
Oh,
And I got wrangled into it too, so,
I've got to get that done.
I want to,
well, I think time's just about up because they're starting to edit
She
and put
might
it
make a
together.
special exception if you show up tomorrow.
Yes, she might.
Can we just show up tomorrow? Or do we
If you
need to?
send her a
do we need to-
message,
You
I
need to
think
be
she-
there when Stacy's there because she's the one
Yeah.
filming.
Okay, I'll email Stacy
Okay,
right now.
all right.
tell him, include my name on that
Okay.
email.
And Orin too? Okay.
Sure.
Sherry, I think there was some
I
competition
have never
between
done well
our police and fire,
volunteering him for things.
and I think police won.
Oh, who sent the most?
Yeah, I think police pulled it
Yeah,
out.
we got several police and firefighters. It's
Look at
awesome.
yours.
And we had Sandeep and
Oh.
And he explained why he wears the
Turban.
turban. I was like, is there a different name for it with
Oh,
his religion?
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's going to be nice, and but also I just wanted to let you know about something on our website. I've talked about it before, but it's all simpler now than the first time or second time I told you about it. So we have on our website, and you know you can get there through your phone too, the Libby app. But I introduced to you a while ago Zinio for magazines. We're not doing Zinio anymore because the Libby or Overdrive app has magazines. And it's very simple. You just have to know your library card number and your PIN. If you don't remember what your PIN is, you can call us and ask us. If you don't have a library card, shame on you. But it's easily fixed, and I'll help you. But it's super easy to just get on there, check out a magazine. There are also movies on the Overdrive app through Libby, or Libby through Over. Anyway, Libby's the name of the app, Overdrive's the name of the company. And all free, and I was just looking at it just now, and there are actually quite a few movies. So, you know, if you're not where it's handy to get them your other ways, you know, just waiting to pick somebody up or something, browse it, check out a magazine, look at it on your phone. It's really easy. Just thought I'd tell you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dion?
Not a lot to report. Been busy doing projects in between the snowstorms, and pickleball courts, they're moving along real good. I think the scheduled date for the pickleball courts to start being poured is the 15th of this month, so
Wow.
they're moving along up there really nice. But
That's good. Any other questions, Dion? At least they're getting a little moisture on our trails up there.
yeah, we
Our
are. but
mud?
They're closed right now.
Okay.
It's a little muddy, so hopefully we'll open them up this weekend after this next storm, so.
Mayor,
Well, maybe we won't.
Dion, I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
Chrisville Park looks good.
Turned out really nice.
Yeah, looks nice.
I haven't
Yeah,
been
so we
over
got
there
the
yet.
stickers
I
up
was
for
there just
the,
before they put it in, and
We got the stickers on for Ace Recycling. They were very happy with that, and it turned out really nice. And I went out there to put the stickers on, it was after the last snowstorm, and I couldn't believe I don't know if they had a snowball fight, or there was a million tracks everywhere, so it's getting used. It's kind of like the downtown park,
Yep,
so
they're happy. Yeah.
it's awesome.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Denise, you have anything else for?
No, just that I sent everybody the email about the PAFR. And
I saw
so
that.
hopefully you go out and take a look at that. It's out on the website, so that's good. So I talked with Scott about, I worked with Danny Rowan, with the graphics, because accountants don't have graphic skills. And so I'll be having her help us with our budget book, some other things. And so I just think we can really add some, just those, just the different graphs, I think, just make the document more pleasing to the eye. Maybe somebody will read it besides me.
No,
so.
I think it does make it more user-friendly.
Yeah.
I think for some people, that just, the visual part of that is just so much more understandable than just reading a paragraph of numbers.
Yeah, so
that.
I've reached out to her, and so I think our budget document will be the next thing that we try to, fancy up a little bit, so. That's
Okay.
it.
Mayor, permission to ask a question real quick?
Good.
Denise,
Yes?
is there, do we have a date of when Danny could get that done so we can get it out to the
The
public?
PAFR?
Uh-huh.
It's out there.
But the graphic,
Oh, like, are you thinking, the book is done and out there, that's how it's gonna look, out on the website?
I was just thinking similar to what the Alpine School District just did with their one-pager. Is it possible to have Danny create kind of a one-page graphic of some of the highlights of the PAFR that we could put out to the public?
Yeah, I could
talked
get
about
with her
that.
and see if she could do that. We could kind of,
Kind of pick out the
yeah,
highlights,
we
maybe the
could
top
pick a few
10?
things out.
Okay,
So, yeah, because it's like, I think it's 17 pages, but we could just pick a few things out and see
Yeah,
if
that'd be
she
awesome.
could maybe pull those into a one-page.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Sid, for bringing that up. Kathy? Tina, you have anything?
I'm good, Mayor, thank you.
You want to give us your report, Kyler? I don't have anything. Other than you're looking real sharp tonight.
Representing Pleasant Grove here today.
Yeah, so that's in case you get lost in the neighborhood, they know where to return you. So anyways. So,
He does live in Pleasant Grove. I'll drop him off.
I live in North Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
Do you really?
North.
Oh.
Suburb of Pleasant Grove.
Scott?
Just a couple things. We have received our proposals for the broadband through the RFP process. We received 5 proposals. We do have a committee that is set up that's going to review those starting tomorrow. So we have Eric and Todd and the mayor, myself and some of the department heads. And then we've also invited Brian Perry, who runs the Spanish Fork broadband network for their city, and Lynn Yoakum, who runs UDOT's fiber for the whole state.
Well done.
And Lynn, I believe, might be a PG resident, so she's told us that she would help. So we're going to do our first review of those tomorrow and work on, I want to move at a decent pace. I don't want us to have one meeting and then wait a month for the next meeting. So we want to keep some momentum so that we can get a recommendation back to the city council so that we can move forward fairly quickly on how we're going to do this and who we're gonna have do it. So I just wanna let you know that that's in motion. Also, Fox Hollow RFI, we're doing a request for information to see if there are people interested in buying the golf course. That was issued about 10 days ago. That closes on February 17th. And I've had a few email inquiries from 4 or 5 different groups that would be interested. So we'll see who actually turns in proposals. The intent of that is we need to figure out our committee to review that. The recommendation would be to have the 3 mayors, the 3 city administrators, and then maybe 3 of our board members. Pleasant Grove board member, Fox Hollow board member, American Fork and Lehigh board members, that'd be 9. And then if we wanted to include a city council member, we could do that. So we need to figure out what that looks like so that once we get those proposals, we want to move in haste on that one too, to make a decision whether we want to actually sell or just kind of keep operating. The last thing on our agenda here is, the last thing that I need to cover is part of the agenda. This is the agreement with the Dowdle company in order for them to do the portrait. So since the last time we've talked, there's just been a couple things, a couple minor changes. One is there's a time crunch on their end at this point in order to deliver what they need to. So they have asked if we could do a smaller portrait than what we initially had talked about. In return for that, the price would go down. So the portrait would be slightly smaller. The price would go from $50,000 down to $45,000.
What's smaller?
22 by 28.
What was the original size?
I deleted that out of here. 20. I have it.
It was what?
32 by 40 was the initial.
$5,000 less?
They're taking a foot off each side and they're gonna charge us $5,000 less?
They're taking, yeah,
Yeah.
5,000 less.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
Foot off each side?
Yeah.
Well, it's, a
Yeah,
foot
10
off
10
one
inches.
and 10 inches on one.
10 inches on one and 20 on the other.
And we could further negotiate that down. I mean, that was just what they, there's a little bit of backstory going on here, but, we just got this agreement 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to get a hold of them to finalize the final part of this, and they finally called me back today because I told them it's on our agenda tonight. And then they started talking through some of the time issues. So, we don't have to do this. If we want, we can just walk away and not do it. They said we could move it to next year. I said, well, we were trying to do this for our 100th Strawberry Days. So that was their counter proposal, was to make it smaller. And we could go back and, this is $5,000 less than their original quote was $50,000 for this size. We asked them to increase the size and keep it at 50,000, so that was the second round of the negotiation. And now they're countering back with, we want to drop it back to the smaller size for 45,000. So that's where we're at. If we want to go back and offer 40, take it or leave it, we can do that. If they say no, then we can walk away or we can accept the 45. But other than that, we have,
So they're not willing to do
The larger size.
the larger size?
They're just saying they don't have time.
What's the size they're proposing again? What is it?
22 by 28.
Okay.
It's about that.
And it was.
No, that's 8.5 by 11.
It's,
It was supposed to be 32 by 42.
Yeah. Yeah, 22, that's almost 2 foot by 2.5 feet.
Oh,
So whatever that,
yeah.
that's the portrait. And then, the main reason we were doing this was to get the puzzle. So you have to have the portrait to do the puzzle.
Is there
So-
an additional charge to make it a puzzle?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
an extra, yeah.
Oh,
Extra what?
Well, it's $12.50 per puzzle, and you have to order a minimum of 2,000, so it's 25,000. So from our initial discussion, we had budgeted 75,000 to do this with the intent of recouping, depending on what we sell the puzzles for, recouping $30,000, $40,000 back on selling puzzles. But if I mean, again, if this isn't where we want to be, I don't have any problem calling these guys up and saying, we're not going to do it.
What do you think, council?
It's a lot.
I was really hoping for the bigger size,
was I,
right?
yeah.
It would have been nice. Were we gonna talk afterwards, maybe? I don't know.
Well,
When do they have to know?
the reason we need to talk is if we do this, we need to give them the list tonight of what we want in it. So I have a master list, but we do need to pare that down. But the-
I'm good with either direction now, so I don't. Yeah.
I mean, I can take back 40,000 to them. And if they say no, we can stay at 45. If they say,
I'm not concerned about the $5,000 or $10,000. I mean, I think if we want to do this, I think we ought to do it right.
Yeah.
Right? I'm disappointed they want to cut the size.
sure,
I'd rather have the larger size for $5,000.
for the 50, right?
Yes.
If we
So-
want to do that, we just push it to next year.
Yeah, to me, this is the year.
Or do we wait, I mean, when could they have it done this
I
year?
mean, they could have it by August. I mean,
Well, there's the that's.
it wouldn't be done in time for Strawberry Days. That's,
Which is when we would need to sell.
Oh,
the-
so they're saying even with the smaller one, it wouldn't be done?
no, smaller one would be done by Strawberry Days. That's the hard deadline is June 1st, that the puzzles are ready.
Well, the one problem with the smaller size is that we really do we cut down a lot of the possibles of what can go on it.
Yeah.
What would be wrong with having it available during Heritage Day?
Yeah.
Well, just my thinking is this was gonna be our, right, this was gonna be our
It was for
big-
the 100th
Yeah,
anniversary
for
of
100 for
Strawberry Days.
Days, there's gonna be a lot of people coming out, and I think a lot of people for the potential of selling the puzzle was huge,
I think we
upscale.
push 'em. What if we pushed them
Yeah.
on the big one? Say, we need it.
I can do that. I just, with the understanding, if they say no, then I need to know where our baseline is.
I just think then we could also have some extra for Heritage Days, right?
I mean, this discussion's happening tomorrow because like,
And I think you have the discussion tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned, is saying we want the larger
We want the big
size.
one.
Yeah.
We want the big one and want it done.
It's
Or we're gonna-
it's
or we're
our
gonna
100
walk.
years. It's,
Or
this
you-
is
or-
big.
Or you walk.
okay, so I can have that conversation. If they
But
tell me
I'm
no,
also not opposed to Heritage Days. I think this is gonna be the summer of festivities.
The problem with the Heritage is we won't sell as many and recoup our money back. like
I
we
don't,
will on-
I don't think there's gonna be any problem selling any of them. Cause
I know.
a couple people talked to me when it was on the agenda, and they said, how much? And I says, they haven't priced it. I said, 20, 25, 30 bucks. We don't care what it is, we'd buy it.
Yeah,
I'd buy 3 or 4 of them.
amen.
So I don't think
I think
the
we
issue
want
is
the
selling
larger
them.
one.
I want
I
the,
want the large one.
and I agree, and we got till Christmas.
What do you think, Sid?
Yeah, I think that we go for the larger one, even if it's at a later date.
okay, because they could have the larger one possibly done by, July
mean-
1st, July 15th.
Even if the larger painting could be done by Strawberry Days, and we kind of get people excited and release a photo of the,
Or
you know,
take
the
or- and
portrait.
take orders.
And take orders during
Oh, yeah,
Strawberry
that's a
Days
good
that
idea.
says,
That's
here's
a
what it
great
looks
idea.
like, we'll have puzzles
Yeah.
ready by August 1st or whatnot,
Yeah.
we can release the portrait around Strawberry
I
Days.
think because the portrait, according to the agreement, would be done at the end of April, so April 30th.
Perfect.
So I'm assuming they could have that portrait done by May 31st at the larger size.
Yeah, play a little hardball.
Okay, well, I'll do that. I mean, I'll still shoot for the larger size for June 1st, so we can do it all this year. And if that's like an absolute no, then we'll work towards just extending that and having it done this summer with the portrait needing to be done by June 1st.
Put your negotiation hat on and
Well,
go get it.
Eric was with me the one time, we got him to come down. I mean,
Same, is this really my job description?
I don't mind negotiating. I don't, in my mind, we have the leverage because we can always say, we're not gonna do it.
Right.
And if that's our baseline, then we have all the power in the world to say this is where we're at.
Say go and do.
So I'll give her a call tomorrow. We'll have that conversation. And I'll let you know tomorrow how it goes. We
Is it-
still need to sit down and pare this list down. Maybe we can do it in between meetings here.
Yes.
So it is one of our action items on our council meeting this evening, so.
Mayor,
Approve the-
permission to
yes.
ask a question to Scott?
Yep.
Scott, regarding the timeline for the RFP, when are we expecting that the committee will be able to have a recommendation? Because I know like the community, when we announced that this was a possibility, just has been asking questions. And is there a timeline for when the committee would meet and have a recommendation?
Yeah, well, I think we'll know better tomorrow after our first meeting. There's two issues we have to sort out. One of the issues is, do we want to own our own network and do this ourselves? Or do we want to do what we call the Utopia model, which is to have them do it all? I've had 4 or 5 different groups that have called me and said, we think it's in your best interest to do the network yourself, and here's how you do it. And so that's what I want this committee to have the discussion, to say, okay, that's where we want to head, or not. Once we get that decided, for us to choose who, particularly depending on what model we choose, hopefully that goes pretty quick to where we can make a recommendation back to council. Because if we choose, no matter who we choose, I mean, we're going to have an agreement that's going to be pretty heavy duty. We're talking anywhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $40 million to build this network. And so I mean, we have a lot at stake here, and we just need to make sure that whatever direction we go, we feel comfortable with. I mean, we have a couple people that are very technology savvy that are on this committee that can help talk us through that, whether we should do it ourselves or have somebody else do it. And once we get that answered, then if it's, do the Utopia model, that one's easier and faster because most of that stuff's already laid out. If it's build our own network, it's going to take a bit before we get there. But so there's a long answer for you. Tomorrow I'll have a little better idea where we're at, but with the understanding that like I said, I want our next meeting to be soon after. I mean, I want us to keep going here. I don't want this drug out, so we can keep it going.
Definitely on the same page on that one.
Yeah.
Mayor, permission
Yes.
for one more
Yeah.
question. Regarding the golf course with all the cities, do all the cities have to agree, or could we pull out and then they make the agreement with a private investor, or would it be all the cities have to agree to sell it? Like, is it possible for an individual city to sell their portion and then the other cities partner with a private investor, or would it be all or nothing?
I guess potentially. I don't know if a private investor is going to want to be 1/3 owner
Okay.
with 2 other cities. A part of it, here's my prediction, what's going to happen. We're going to have, I don't think there's going to be a ton of groups that are going to be interested at the end of the day. And we'll have 2 or 3 groups, and then we're going to sit down with the groups and we're going to talk through and say, what does this mean? And then if it's something we're all comfortable with as the 3 cities, then we do it. And if we're not, then chances are we just keep owning and operating a golf course. This is kind of new territory for us. But I would say the other 2 cities they're probably where we're at. It's like if there's something financially that makes sense for us, we ought to do it. We ought to not own a golf course, just own a golf course. If somebody's willing to buy this off of us and the price is right, then we need to consider it. But again, there's a long answer to your question. Yeah, if we want out and sell and the other 2 don't, I don't know where that puts us. Legally, we're bound.
I think we'll all be there.
I tend to agree. I think we're all going to agree this is a good idea or not. I don't think we're going to necessarily be on different pages there.
Tony
Sorry, go ahead.
Tony made some money Sunday.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. They're one of the groups interested, so. I've had, like I said, 4 or 5 emails of others expressing interest, so.
Tina, did you have something?
I was just gonna say, I think it'd be very, very difficult for one city to pull out and sell their interest, because when we did the bonding, we formed a new entity, the TCIA, and that's the entity actually. So it'll be difficult to unwind that and let one person out in a private entity, because it's based on interlocal agreements between government agencies.
Excellent question, though, Sid. Well, we are out of time for our work session. In fact, we've gone over, but I'd ask for a motion to adjourn from our work session.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilmember Jensen, a second from
Second.
Councilmember Bullock. All in favor?